In this sewing tutorial, we're going to sew a cargo pocket with a single pleat. This is a really simple method. It uses a single piece of fabric and can be done very quickly without much measuring. Plenty of space to put all kinds of great goodies and things in the pocket. The first thing to do is cut out a cargo pocket. You can see it has a 2-inch border. The size is up to you. Then fold the material in half, and we're going to stitch from the edge of the fabric to the middle with a 5/8 seam allowance. Then press this down. This is what becomes the pleat. You want to make sure you press this nice and even, starting from the edges, and then press out towards the center. Flip the fabric over, and then go ahead and give it a nice press so the pleat looks really nice and sharp. Once that's done, go ahead and fold the top of your cargo pocket flap over about 1/4 inch and press. Then fold the rest down to give it a nice, healthy top to the pocket and press this. Once it's all pressed down and nice and tidy, we're going to stitch right along the bottom of this piece. Once you've stitched on the bottom, it's time to press all the sides. Fold them over and press each one individually. Make sure the pressing is nice and crisp. Work your way around the cargo pocket and press. Be especially careful when you're pressing by the pleat that you don't spread it open. Then finally to the last side, continue pressing, and then the cargo pocket is almost ready to begin sewing. Now we can take it to the sewing machine, fold the flap over, and then we're going to stitch right along the edge, maybe a 1/16 inch, just catching the edge of the fabric. So nice and straight all the way down to the next crease. Leave your needle down, then lift the presser foot, pivot, and make sure you fold all the fabric around so you're not stitching through the sides. You want to just do the same stitch, but now on the bottom of the pocket, catching a 1/16 inch right along the edge of the fold. Go all the way to the next corner, leave your needle down, fold everything around, making sure not to catch the fabric. Take your time. You want this to be nice and neat because it will be seen in the final cargo pocket. So all the way to the top, back stitch, and then this section of sewing is done. Now we're ready to fold the cargo pocket corners. Looking from the top, fold down, just like you're making a paper hat. Then locate exactly where the stitching ends. It may not be exactly where your line is. That's okay. You want to line up the stitching with the new sewing. Then sew straight down to the bottom, and this creates the bottom part of the cargo pocket. Trim your thread, and then repeat for the other side. Fold it down, just like you're making a square out of a piece of paper. You can rotate the fabric around so it's easier to press and hold while you're sewing. And again, your line may be a little off. It's more important that the stitching lines up rather than hitting your marks. Once the two bottom corners of the cargo pocket are sewn, we want to secure these to the inside seam allowance. Go ahead and just give a little bit of stitching to hold them in place when we do the rest of the stitching of the pocket. Then stitch the final corner, and the cargo pocket is really starting to take shape now. Next, we need to fold over the edges of the pocket so it has the bellows section. We want to fold over one edge to catch the raw edge of the fabric, and then we'll put a crease that actually is the bellows. Go ahead and press this shape all the way around on your ironing board. Here I've already pressed it, so now it stays in place very easily. I can put the cargo pocket right on the piece of fabric where I'm going to secure it. We'll start sewing at the top corner of the pocket, and we're going to catch just that outside edge of fabric that we pressed. So right here, start sewing, and we want to sew basically a 1/16 inch, just catching the edge of the fabric. Make sure you sew straight. We don't want the pocket to spread out. So you can put some marks on your fabric. Then when you get down to the corner, sew all the way to the edge, leave your needle down, then lift the presser foot and pivot. And we want to get everything out of the way. And now it's really important to make sure the cargo pocket is sewn on square, because if you make any distortions now, it'll show up in the final pocket. So straight along until you get to the final corner, making sure you keep everything square and not distorted. Leave your needle down, lift the presser foot, then you can pivot on the needle and then continue sewing up. This is where you'll make the most mistakes because you have a tendency to widen the pocket because you have extra fabric. It's better to have the bottom part be a little bit narrow so it doesn't stick out from the front part of the cargo pocket. Continue down to the top, drop your needle, and now we need to catch that inside raw edge of the fabric. So stitch over, make a box corner, then stitch all the way back down, and this catches that raw edge of the fabric on the inside. So of course, you could have serged this ahead of time, and then you wouldn't need to do this step, but it makes the cargo pocket stronger and adds a nice detail. Then sew at an angle out to the outside corner, and sew around that section of fabric. Leave your needle down and pivot on the needle. Continue sewing. Fold the fabric out of the way, and now we can repeat the process by sewing out from the corner to the raw edge of the fabric that's underneath. Then we'll sew along the bottom of the cargo pocket right across the pleat. Be careful when you're sewing across the pleat, you don't want it to spread open, and repeat the process of sewing back to the outside corner, leaving your needle down when you pivot. Fold the cargo pocket corner out of the way, sew back, and then to the raw edge of the fabric that's underneath. Then continue sewing up the side of the cargo pocket bellows. When you get to the top, go ahead and give it a good back stitch, and now everything is secure. Now we have a cargo pocket that works pretty well. You have two choices. You can leave it open like this, so the top part is a little bit more expansive, or you can put some bartack stitching at the top two corners. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just stitch back and forth a number of times. This will secure the top of the cargo pocket. Go ahead and repeat on the other side, giving it a bar tack, stitching back and forth so you have a nice secure top to your cargo pocket. Once you trim your threads, we now have a completed cargo pocket with a really nice pleat. This is a nice decorative detail. You can put this on bags, on garments, and the pleat will always stay there because it's stitched in and it looks really nice. Hopefully you're able to use this tutorial to make your own cargo pocket with a pleat and bellows. Happy sewing!